At Celerant, we're excited to announce the newest version of Stratus Enterprise is now available, version 2.6.8. This new version is full of new features and third-party integrations. In today's video, we'll look at a few of the newest features, but first I wanted to highlight some of our many new third-party integrations. We partnered with One Shop Retail, who offers a clienteling app to help our retailers with upsell opportunities. We've also partnered and integrated with the NPD group, in which participating retailers get access to valuable benchmark reporting in exchange for sharing their sales data anonymously from our point of sale. For Stratus customers, we have a new integration to ShopperTrack, who provides in-store foot traffic reporting combined with the sales and workforce management data that we send ShopperTrack from our software. For the ski industry, we have a new partnership with the SSL Group, Sports Specialists Limited. They're a buying group specific to the ski industry, and we're now their recommended e-commerce and point-of-sale provider. We've also expanded upon our NILS integration, and so for ski retailers, we now offer the NILS online feed for e-commerce as well as dropship. For the pet industry, we integrate now with Sunburst Pet Supplies, in which we can offer a catalog import at the point of sale and automated purchasing. For hobby shops, we now integrate to Horizon Hobby, in which we offer the catalog import at the point of sale, and coming soon, we'll have the online feed for e-commerce. And lastly, for the sportsman industry, we have new distributor partners such as Sportsman Supply, Bangers, and Amchar, where we offer the catalog import at the point of sale, the automated ordering, the online feed for e-commerce, the in-store kiosks, and for Sportsman Supply, we offer dropship. And we have a new third-party integration to an online marketplace called Weapon Depot, which is specific as well to the sportsman industry. At the end of this product video, we'll introduce you to our new advanced reporting application called Stratus Analytics. If you'd like to see a full one-on-one demonstration of the new platform, please reach out to your sales rep. So now let's take a look at some of the new features in version 2.6.8. To review all the features, you can visit your client site and download the full release notes.
So what we're going to be covering is the new features in the release version 2.6.8 for Stratus. The first one we're going to talk about is going to be the masking of the gift card number on receipt printouts. So from here, this will actually be applied to both the selling of a gift card as well as the redeeming of a gift card. So first we're going to take a look at the selling of a gift card. So if we go under transaction type, sell a gift card, what I can do here is enter in the gift card number. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in the gift card number. We'll sell it for $25. Add the card to the point of sale. And you can see here it does show the gift card number currently. The last four digits is 1002. So if I go in and click on pay, at this point, if my system is configured to add a donation prompt where this is all configurable, I can set it to be the nearest dollar, $1 denomination, $5, $10. I could even throw in 20, 50, whatever you want in terms of your configuration, or you can just have it turned off. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and say no. So now we're at the pay screen. I can then take in the payment that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and select cash, select the payment, and then I can have my system configured to prompt me for a green receipt, meaning that I can either print, email, both, or no print. So I'm going to go ahead and print this receipt. And once the receipt prints, you can notice here that the gift card, the selling of the gift card shows just the last four digits instead of the entire gift card number. Therefore, if somebody would lose their the receipt, somebody couldn't pick it up and say, hey, I have this gift card, and try to redeem it for their own benefit. So that was selling of a gift card. So what we're going to do is we're going to also look at the redeeming of the gift card. So at this point, if I go through the process, sell an item, now I can go to the pay screen. Again, prompt for donations if I have it configured that way. And I'm going to go ahead and select the gift card. Enter in the gift card number. I had $25 on it, so it left a balance. So I'm going to go ahead and pay the rest of it with cash. Do split tender. Finish the transaction, and again, I'm going to go ahead and print this receipt. And when you print out the receipt, you'll also notice here that the gift card is listed, just the last 4 digits of the gift card are listed. The next section we're going to look at is the ability to set the net number of due days from the invoice entry screen within the Stratus back office. So the overall process begins with the creating of a purchase order and receiving of that purchase order. So we can do that from the back office menu under vendor management. I can go through the process of creating a purchase order, or I'm going to use the new at once receiving, which does it all in one step. So at this point, what I'm going to do is create the purchase order. Find the vendor. And then I can come down, find the items I want to add to it. I can select multiple items. And I can go through the process of entering in the quantities. Save. So now that I have the purchase order entered in, I can go ahead and click on Save. It'll print out the receiving statement. Tells me what I received. And then also it'll prompt me if I have the checkbox to print tags selected, it'll actually prompt me to print the tags. So at this point, I've created the purchase order and I've received the purchase order. Now, a few days later, the vendor, I received the invoice from the vendor. So in order to enter in that information, I would go through the vendor management under receiving log. And I would look up the particular receiving that I just entered in. There's the receiving, so I can go under action, enter invoice/credit. And this allows me to enter in the invoice number, so I can put in the invoice number from the vendor. I can set the actual date, the invoice date. If there was freight associated with it, I can enter in the freight. And now we also now have the ability to enter in the net number of days. That's going to set the due date. So if I come in, enter in say 30, you can see here the due date updated to April 1st. This will be good for, in terms of aging and making sure that you pay things on time. So if we go ahead and click on Save, and now if I come back and look at that same invoice, you'll see here that the due date, the net due days is 30 still, and the due date is still April 1st. In this section, what we're going to talk about is going to be the new inventory adjustment report. So we're going to start off by looking at the out-of-the-box reporting. So if we, from the back office, if we go under reporting and go under the reporting menu option, these are our standard reports that are available out of the box. I can scroll down, I can see here there's now inventory adjustment reports. So if I select that, it gives me the prompt of the date range that I want to use. I'll just use the year to date at this point, and then I can run the report. This particular report is configured to show me the adjustment reason, and then I can expand it and look at the actual products, and then I can see the adjusted quantity in at cost, in at retail, the adjusted quantity out at cost, out at retail, and then the net cost quantity in retail. Again, this is out of the box. Additionally, if you actually back out, we can look at the report designer. Gives you more flexibility, more filtering. You're able to add additional attributes to the report as well. So from here, we'll go under report designer, and I can go ahead and click on new, and I can set up the report name, the description, go down into the inventory adjustment report type. I can set it up with unlimited columns or set the number of columns. So at this point then, we're going to look at the adjustment date. We're going to use it as an HTML at this point. And then the primary dates, I'm just going to go ahead and use the year-to-date right now. So we go ahead and click on Next. You'll be able to select your stores and then your attributes. And again, this is where there's a lot more attributes available in the report designer than the canned report. You can select your adjustment reason. You can select your specific brand. You can even go down, you have the class OFs, your regular OFs, your employee who did it, the description of the item, so on and so forth. So all these attributes are available you can use within this type of report. So then what we can do is go to the next, and again, we have all of the metrics for the adjust in quantity, in at cost, in at retail, the adjust out quantity, out at cost, out at retail, and then the net adjust cost, quantity, and retail. And if I go through next, it gives me my ability to do my groupings, so I can set my groupings accordingly, and then I can go through, see how the data is going to be aggregated. Gives me my filtering capability, so I can go through and filter based off of all these various options. Go next. If I have any restrictions, again, this might be a manager type report, so you might want to just restrict it to managers. And then once you're done, you can go through the process. So you can preview it and save the report. And again, you'll be able to see based off of your report what you have listed here in terms of what's been adjusted in, what's been adjusted out, whether it be at the cost, the retail value, or you can do the net. The next feature we're going to talk about is the additional cost import feature. The purpose of this feature is to increase your cost outside of the normal purchase order receiving and invoicing from vendors. For example, a retailer might have a third-party freighter come in and complete the last leg of delivery, in which case they would have a separate invoice from the traditional vendor invoice. Another example would be custom charges. If you order from overseas and there's any additional charges that are outside of the normal vendor's invoice. So this feature is meant to capture a true margin of your inventory, including any additional charges that you have accrued from the point of ordering it from the vendor and receiving it into your inventory. So in order to utilize this feature, the first thing that you have to do is you have to go and set up the scheduled tasks. We do require the scheduled task that actually goes through and processes the imported file. The reason being is that we don't want to put a strain or anything during the normal business hours. So from here, what you do is, this is the Stratus back office. You'll go under the admin, under the scheduled tasks, and you can see here there's a new one labeled process additional cost import. So you can set that up. This is a cron job. So you can define the cron expression for it to run, and you can flag it as being active in order for it to process on a regular basis. So you can set it up and basically walk away, or you can set it up to where you want to be able to manually execute this job. Once that piece is set up, the next thing is going to be to enter in the actual, or perform the additional cost import. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in the PO number. And I'm going to go ahead and select a vendor. And once I have the vendor entered in, now I'm going to go ahead and add in the items. So I'm going to go ahead and add both these items onto the purchase order. So we'll go ahead and we'll do 5 of these and 20 of these. Okay. At this point, this is the standard purchase order you're creating. If I had a freight amount, I could enter in the freight amount from the vendor, from the original ordering vendor. It'll print out the receiving statement. It'll prompt me for the tags if I have it checked to print tags. And what I'm going to do now is take a look at those particular items. So if I go under the product management, under the SKU store list, I will bring up those two items. And the reason I'm bringing these up is that you'll be able to see we have the average cost of $16.52 and $37.90. So from there, what we're going to do next is going to perform the additional cost import. So the additional cost import, the idea is if you go under vendor management, you have the additional cost import. You start with the list screen. I can go ahead and create a new import. This will give me the ability to select the file. So I'm going to go ahead and select the file. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to select how I want to disperse the dollar amount. So I can disperse it based off of the classification, the taxonomy, or I can select no and just have it based off of just whatever items were received evenly. So if I go through here and look, if I set that to no, you can see here the template will change to just the amount. If I want to break it out on a department, I can do it that way. So for example, say you're using a Freightliner that you're adding multiple purchase orders from various vendors that covers different departments of your inventory that you stock. There might be furniture, there might be clothing, there might be accessories. So you'll put that all in this freight container, and this third-party company will then charge you, let's say, $1,000 to take it that last leg of delivery. In which case, you want to take that dollar amount and disperse it across everything, across all of the items in the receivings, but you want to break it out based off of the departments. So of that, let's say $1,000, maybe 500 needs to be accounted for furniture, 200 needs to be accounted for accessories, and 300 needs to be accounted for apparel. So you are able to do that by simply selecting yes, and that will give you the ability to say what department type, subtype 1, 2, or 3 you want to break out the dollar amount. If you say no, it's going to allow you to just put in a dollar amount, and then that dollar amount will be allocated to or dispersed to the receivings that you select. The other option that you have here is the ability to select if you wanted to break it out based off of the total retail value, the cost value, or the quantity received. And then I can also enter in the invoice number if I wanted to enter in the invoice number at this time. Once I have that all entered in, I can go through the process, click on next. That's going to give me my mapping just to make sure. So in the example file that I selected, I had $1,000 of an additional cost that I wanted to disperse across the items. So if I go and click on next here, that's going to give me a rundown of what receivings have been selected that's about to get updated. So I can generate a download here. This will tell me basically what the original total cost was and what the new total cost was. So you can see here that I'm basically taking this receiving and I'm adding $1,000 to it. If I wanted to look at one step more, I could look at the SKU detail. So again, based off of what we received, if I come in here, I can see what the unit cost was beforehand, which we saw from the SKU list, and now what it is based off that additional cost that was associated with it. So at this point, click on next. We've now created that session. So if I come in here, these are the sessions, the pending sessions. I still have the ability to basically delete this pending session As you can see, it's pending. Once that scheduled task is executed, it is no longer pending, and it will actually update the cost as well as update the cost of goods sold of those items that have sold from those receivings. So if I come in here, do a search, and we're going to go ahead and run this manually. We jump back. This has been committed, so you can no longer delete it. And if we jump into the product screen, if you remember, the average cost was $16.52 and $37.90. If I go in here, the average cost has been updated as well as for both items. So this does also go back, like I mentioned, in the example where you receive the merchandise and then you start selling it right away, and then you receive an additional this additional import file to increase your cost of the items. It will go back and adjust the cost of goods sold for those items as well. The next feature we're going to talk about is the automatically updating the cost of a consignment item based off the actual selling price. So in order to begin the process, you would first have to take in the consignment item. So we'll jump over to the service module, go under consignments. And from here, you're able to start the process by either taking a new intake, which is basically a way to allow the customer to come in with a box of stuff or bags of stuff, and you're able to generate a receipt essentially and get them out the door, and then have somebody with more knowledge on the merchandise, on the pricing of merchandise, come in after the fact and do the actual price in. Or you can always go directly to the new price in and actually enter in the consignment item. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Click on new price in. That's going to give us the consignment entry screen. So I'll begin with selecting the customer. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and just pick the customer. They're in good standing, in which case now I can go through the add item process. And if I go through boots, fashions, and let's say we have a pair of boots that we're going to go ahead and consign. The next step is going to be to enter in the description. So you can then also enter in any additional information with the drop-down options. Now I'm going to go ahead and set the price at $100 for now because it'll make sense in terms of when the item is actually sold. So if we go ahead and save this, we now have the item out here. It was for $100 is what we're going to try to sell it for. My system's configured to give an 80% trade or cash credit for consignment, which means basically if I sell this for $100, then I'm going to make $20, and the consignor will get $80 of credit. So once I have that entered in, I can go ahead and click on Save Complete. It'll print out my agreement and bring me back to the consignment entry screen. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and jump back over to the back office. And from the back office, I'm going to go into the product management, and under the products screen, list screen, I'm going to go ahead and enter in the item that we just created for consignment. And you can see here's the pair of boots that I created. If I go and look at that item and go down here, you'll notice that the cost is 0. That's because this is a consignment item and I don't actually have any value associated with it. It's not, I'm just giving the consignor a place for them to bring in their item and sell it. Additionally, if I go into the customer record of the consignor, I'm able to bring up the customer, look in their options under the buy, trade, consign, and I can see here that they have a 0 consignment credit and cash currently. So now that I have the consignment item entered in, I can go into the point of sale and sell that item. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the point of sale. We'll go ahead and sell that consignment item. Again, that's the item. It's originally priced at $100. However, the customer that's buying this item haggles a little bit, and we end up agreeing to a 15% discount. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and change the price. We'll set it up as a 15% discount for customer service purposes. And now the actual selling price is going to be $85. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and click on Pay. I'm not going to perform a roundup donation, and I'm going to go and cash out the sale. Once that's complete, if I jump back over to the back office and look at the product itself, I can edit the product. You can see here now, if I go down, the cost has been updated to $68, which is 80% of the selling price, $85. So it automatically updated there. Additionally, jump over to the customer, look at the customer record, go down. You can see here the available credit is also $68 for that particular item. Again, 80% of the selling price, $85. And lastly, if you look at the sale tracking under merchandise sold, bring up that item that we just sold. If I go over to the right here, you can see here the unit cost of goods sold has been updated to $68 as well. So basically, as soon as the consignment item is sold, we're actually going through the process of updating the cost of goods sold throughout the system based off the actual selling price, not the original entered selling price. In this section, we'll review our new BI tool called Stratus Analytics. This gives the ability to create reports and dashboards that can be emailed periodically. The difference with our current emailed reports is that this allows clicking within the email to jump into Stratus Analytics for a deeper dive. As you can see here, there are a number of different options that can be reported on. So we'll go ahead and click into the dashboard. If you have additional dashboards created, you can go in here. You have a lot of different options. Allows you to do periodic reviews. You have differences of charts, graphs, line graphs, pie graphs, all with the use of your Stratus information. Additionally, you can go under the analytics, in which case you can generate reports, such as the flash sales report. From here, you have a number of different options. You're able to go into the filter options. You have the ability to set different date ranges. You can do custom periods. And another key benefit is allowing you to do comparative reporting for the previous year and the corresponding period. You can also do additional reporting, such as custom periods. So I can do multiple reports or multiple information all on one report with different time periods. There's also the ability to add additional filters, additional groupings. So if I wanted to run it for a level of type, I can add in type. I can even also add in additional options such as product, subtype 1, subtype 2. You can also allow for additional filter options that are shown here, as well as other ones available. Additionally, you have the ability to do a percent or a dollar amount change. That allows you to get a complete analysis of how your business is doing to make those key decisions. Another benefit is allowing you to import budgets at various levels of information, in which case you can take that budget and build it into a custom report. As you can see here, we have a report for yesterday, the corresponding period of last year, as well as the budget that I imported in at the store level. So this allows me to see where I'm at, where I've been, and where I want to get to, all in one report.
Those features plus many more are now available in the latest version of Stratus Enterprise. Log into your client portal to download the full release notes and read about all the new features that are now available. We encourage every client who's up to date with your software assurance to email updates@celerant.com to schedule your update. For those clients who may not be up to date with your software assurance, feel free to reach out to your sales rep anytime to discuss your options.